What if the very thing you want most in this world is already moving toward you right now, and the only reason it hasn't arrived is because something inside you keeps pushing it away? Not consciously, not deliberately, but through an invisible signal you have been broadcasting every single day of your life without ever realizing it was there. You have been told that desire is the starting point of creation. That if you want something badly enough, if you work hard enough, if you visualize clearly enough, the universe will eventually deliver. But here is what no one tells you. Desire alone is not a frequency of receiving. In fact, the way most people hold their desires actually creates the opposite of what they want. It creates a frequency of absence, a vibration that screams to the field of infinite possibility, "I do not have this yet." And that scream echoes back as more not having, more waiting, more wondering why everyone else seems to receive what you cannot. This is not about effort. This is not about worthiness in the way you have been taught to think about it. This is about something far more subtle and far more powerful. This is about the energetic posture you hold in every waking moment. The silent conversation happening between your inner world and the invisible architecture of reality itself. And once you understand how this conversation works, once you truly feel it in your body and not just comprehend it in your mind, everything changes. Not because the universe suddenly decides to be generous, but because you stop being the one who blocks what was always trying to reach you. Let that land for a moment. Because most people spend their entire lives in a state of energetic contradiction. They pray for abundance while radiating scarcity. They affirm love while vibrating with the wound of rejection. They declare health while their nervous system hums with the frequency of fear. And then they wonder why the prayer goes unanswered. They wonder why the affirmation feels hollow. They wonder why the vision board on their wall looks nothing like the life unfolding around them. The answer is not that the universe is cruel or indifferent. The answer is that the universe is extraordinarily precise. It does not respond to what you say. It does not respond to what you think you believe. It responds to the frequency you actually hold, the one buried beneath your words, beneath your conscious intentions, beneath the carefully constructed story you tell yourself about who you are and what you deserve. That deeper frequency, that hidden broadcast, is the only thing the field of creation ever hears. And it responds to it with absolute fidelity, every single time, without exception. So the question is not whether you are worthy of receiving. You are. That was settled the moment you came into existence. The question is whether you are available for it, whether the channel is open, whether the signal you are sending matches the reality you say you want. Because there is a vast difference between wanting something and being in the frequency of receiving it. And that difference is where most people lose themselves entirely. Think about this carefully. When you truly desire something, what happens inside your body? Not in your mind, in your body. For most people, desire activates a subtle tension, a tightening, a reaching forward, a leaning toward the future that simultaneously communicates to the present moment that something is missing. That right here, right now, you are incomplete. And that incompleteness becomes the dominant signal, not the image of what you want, not the words of your intention, the feeling of lack that lives underneath the wanting. That is what broadcasts. That is what the field responds to. That is what creates more of itself in your experience. This is why so many spiritual teachings speak about detachment. But detachment has been profoundly misunderstood. It does not mean you stop caring. It does not mean you become passive or indifferent. Detachment means you release the grip of need that distorts your frequency. You allow yourself to want something fully while simultaneously resting in the wholeness of this moment. You hold the desire without the desperation. You carry the vision without the void. And in that paradox, in that exquisite balance between intention and surrender, the frequency of receiving naturally emerges. But here is the thing. This is not something you can fake. You cannot trick the universe by pretending to be detached while secretly clinging to outcomes. The field reads energy, not performance. It senses the difference between genuine peace and manufactured calm. It knows when your surrender is real and when it is just another strategy to get what you want. And that knowing is absolute. There is no fooling the intelligence that holds galaxies in orbit and keeps electrons spinning in their paths. It reads you at the deepest level, beneath every mask, beneath every strategy, beneath every carefully rehearsed affirmation. So the work is not about learning a new technique. The work is about becoming honest with yourself at a level most people never reach. It is about sitting with the uncomfortable truth of what you actually feel when you think about what you want. Not what you wish you felt. Not what the books told you to feel. What you actually feel. Because that feeling, whatever it is your current broadcast. Until you are willing to meet it, to see it clearly, to understand where it comes from and why it persists, you will keep sending the same signal and receiving the same results, no matter how many new methods you try. If this is resonating with something deep inside you right now, take a moment to hit that like button and subscribe to this channel so these messages can continue finding you when you need them most. Let me take you deeper into this. There is a principle at work in the fabric of reality that the ancient mystics understood and that modern physics is only beginning to glimpse. It is the principle that observation shapes what is observed, that consciousness does not merely witness reality, but participates in its creation. At the quantum level, particles exist in states of pure potential until the act of measurement collapses them into specific outcomes. The observer does not just see what is there. The observer influences what becomes there. And you, in every moment of your existence, are that observer. Not passively watching life unfold, but actively collapsing infinite possibilities into the singular experience you call your reality. Now extend this understanding beyond the laboratory and into the living field of your daily experience. Your consciousness is not contained within your skull. It extends outward like a field, touching everything, influencing everything, participating in the constant emergence of what appears to be an external world. And the quality of that field, the frequency it carries, determines which possibilities collapse into your experience and which remain forever unrealized in the quantum soup of potential. When your field carries the frequency of receiving, of openness, of trust, of already having, the possibilities that match that frequency begin to crystallize around you. Opportunities appear, connections form, resources flow, not through magic or wishful thinking, but through the precise mechanics of resonance. Like attracts like at the most fundamental level of reality. Your frequency is a filter that determines which slice of infinite possibility becomes your lived experience. But when your field carries the frequency of grasping, of fearing, of doubting, of protecting against loss. A different set of possibilities crystallizes. The ones that match that signal. The ones that confirm your deepest unconscious beliefs about scarcity, unworthiness, and the fundamental hostility of existence. And here is the part that most people miss entirely. These crystallized experiences then become evidence. They become proof that your fears were justified, that your doubts were reasonable, that your protective posture was necessary. And so the cycle deepens. The frequency intensifies. The pattern becomes more entrenched. And the very thing you desire moves further and further from your lived experience, not because it does not exist, but because your signal keeps selecting against it. This is the trap, the evidence trap, the loop where your frequency creates your reality confirms your frequency, and the whole system becomes self-reinforcing. Breaking free from this loop is the single most important thing you can do for your life. And it begins not with changing your circumstances, but with changing the frequency from which you observe them. I want to pause here and ask you something. When did you first become aware that you were blocking your own receiving? Was there a specific moment, a relationship, a loss that made you realize the signal you were sending did not match what you truly wanted? Share that moment in the comments, because naming it is the first step in releasing it. Pause and breathe into that for a moment. Consider what happens when you truly, deeply expect something. Not hope for it, not wish for it. Expect it with the same casual certainty with which you expect the sun to rise tomorrow. There is no tension in that expectation, no anxiety, no grasping. You do not lie awake at night worrying about whether the sun will appear. You do not create vision boards of sunrise. You do not affirm to yourself that you are worthy of daylight. You simply know. And in that knowing there is a profound relaxation, a complete absence of resistance, an open channel through which the expected reality flows without obstruction. That is the frequency of receiving. Not excitement, not desire, not hope. Knowing. A deep, cellular, bone-level knowing that what is yours is already on its way, and that your only job is to remain open to its arrival. This knowing is not something you generate through willpower. It is something you uncover by removing everything that contradicts it. Every doubt, every wound, every inherited belief about what is possible and what is not. Every time someone told you to be realistic. Every time life seemed to confirm that good things happen to other people but not to you. All of that accumulated debris sits between you and the frequency of receiving, and all of it can be cleared, not through force but through awareness, through the gentle, persistent willingness to see what is actually there and to let it dissolve in the light of your attention. There is a woman whose story illuminates this principle with startling clarity. Not a specific woman with a name you would recognize, but an archetype, a pattern that repeats itself across countless lives. She spent years pursuing love with an intensity that bordered on desperation. Every relationship began with hope and ended with heartbreak. Every new connection carried the invisible weight of every previous disappointment. She did everything the book suggested. She visualized her ideal partner. She wrote lists of desired qualities. She affirmed her worthiness of love. And still, love eluded her. Or more precisely, love arrived but always in forms that confirmed her deepest fear, that she was not enough to keep it. What she did not realize What she could not see from inside the pattern was that her entire approach to love was saturated with the frequency of absence. Every visualization was powered by loneliness. Every affirmation was an attempt to override a deeper belief in her own inadequacy. Every new relationship was unconsciously designed to answer a question she had been asking since childhood. Am I lovable? And because the question itself carried the energy of doubt, the answers the universe provided always reflected that doubt back to her. The shift came not through another technique or another relationship, but through a moment of radical honesty. She stopped. She sat with the ache. She allowed herself to feel the full weight of the loneliness she had been running from her entire life. And in that sitting, in that willingness to be present with what was actually there, instead of constantly trying to fix it or escape it, something unexpected happened. The loneliness began to dissolve, not because it was replaced by something better, but because she finally stopped resisting it. She stopped treating it as evidence of her unworthiness and started seeing it as simply an energy, a frequency she had been carrying, a broadcast she had been sending without knowing it. And when the loneliness dissolved, what remained was not emptiness but fullness, a quiet, steady sense of being complete exactly as she was. Not because she had convinced herself she did not need love, but because she had discovered that the love she was seeking outside herself had been inside her all along, buried beneath layers of resistance and self-rejection. From that place of inner fullness, her frequency shifted entirely. She was no longer broadcasting need. She was radiating presence, and love, the kind she had always wanted, began to find her with an ease that would have seemed impossible just months before. This is not a fairy tale. This is the mechanics of frequency at work. This is what happens when you stop trying to attract from a place of lack and start allowing from a place of wholeness. The universe does not reward suffering. It does not respond to desperation. It responds to coherence, to alignment, to the signal that says, I am already whole, and from that wholeness, I welcome more. But here is where it gets interesting. This principle does not only apply to love, it applies to everything. Every area of your life where you feel stuck, blocked, or frustrated is an area where your frequency is contradicting your intention. Where the signal you are sending does not match the reality you say you want. And the contradiction is almost never where you think it is. Take abundance for example. Most people who struggle with money believe their problem is external. Not enough opportunities, not enough education, not the right connections, not enough luck. And while circumstances certainly play a role, they are not the root cause. The root cause is the frequency from which you relate to abundance, and that frequency was usually set long before you ever earned your first dollar. Think back to the earliest messages you received about money, about wealth, about people who had it and people who did not. Think about the emotional atmosphere in your childhood home when bills arrived. Think about the subtle, unspoken beliefs that were transmitted to you not through words, but through energy, through the tightness in a parent's voice, through the anxiety that filled the room when finances were discussed, through the implicit message that money was scarce, dangerous, corrupting, or simply not for people like you. These early impressions did not just shape your thoughts about money. They set your frequency around it. They established the baseline vibration from which you would relate to abundance for the rest of your life, unless you consciously chose to examine and shift it. And most people never do. Most people inherit a frequency of scarcity and spend their entire lives trying to create abundance from within that frequency, wondering why their efforts never seem to produce lasting results. The universe is not withholding abundance from you. Abundance is the natural state of the cosmos. Look at the stars. Look at the cells in your body. Look at the leaves on a single tree. Creation is inherently, overwhelmingly, almost absurdly abundant. Scarcity is not a feature of the universe. It is a feature of human consciousness. A learned frequency. A broadcast that says there is not enough. And the universe, in its perfect responsiveness, says, if that is your signal, then that is what I will reflect back to you. Shifting this frequency requires something more than positive thinking. Positive thinking, when it sits on top of an unexamined foundation of scarcity, is like painting over rust. It may look better for a while, but the corrosion continues underneath. True frequency shifting requires going to the foundation, meeting the original wound, feeling the fear that was installed before you had words for it, and allowing it to be seen, acknowledged, and gently released. This is not a one-time event. It is an ongoing practice. A daily willingness to notice when you have slipped back into the old frequency and to gently, without judgment, return to the new one. Like tuning an instrument, it requires patience and repetition. But each time you return to the frequency of receiving, the new pattern strengthens. The neural pathways deepen. The energetic signature becomes more stable, and the external world begins to reflect the shift with increasing clarity and speed. Tell me in the comments, what is the one inherited belief about scarcity or unworthiness that you are finally ready to release? Write it down there, and let that be the beginning of letting it go. Let me share another pattern that illuminates this truth. There is a man, an archetype again, who spent decades building what the world would call success. He worked relentlessly. He accumulated wealth, status, recognition. From the outside, he appeared to have everything. But inside, he felt hollow, empty, as though no amount of achievement could fill the space where something essential was missing. And so he worked harder, accumulated more, pushed further, believing that the next milestone, the next accomplishment, the next zero added to his net worth would finally bring the feeling he was chasing. What he did not understand was that his entire drive was powered by a frequency of not enough. Every achievement was an attempt to prove something to a world that he unconsciously believed would reject him if he stopped performing. His success was real, but it was built on a foundation of fear, and so it could never deliver the peace he sought. The more he achieved, the more he needed to achieve. The higher he climbed, the more terrifying the prospect of falling became. His frequency of not enough created a reality of never enough, no matter how much he accumulated. The breakthrough came when exhaustion finally forced him to stop. When the body, that faithful messenger of truth, refused to carry the weight of his resistance any longer. In the stillness that followed, in the terrifying silence of not doing, he began to feel what he had been running from. The original wound. The childhood belief that he was only valuable for what he produced. The fear that without his achievements, he was nothing. And as he sat with that fear, as he allowed it to exist without trying to fix it or outrun it, something remarkable happened. The fear began to lose its power. Not because he conquered it, but because he stopped feeding it with resistance. He stopped treating it as the truth about who he was and started seeing it as simply an old frequency, an inherited broadcast that had been running on autopilot for decades. And in that seeing, in that moment of clear awareness, the frequency began to shift on its own. This is the secret that changes everything. You do not have to force a new frequency into existence. You do not have to overpower the old one with willpower or affirmation. You simply have to become aware of it. Truly, deeply, honestly aware, because awareness itself is the highest frequency. And when you bring awareness to a lower frequency, the lower frequency naturally begins to rise. Like ice melting in sunlight, the old pattern dissolves not through effort, but through exposure to something more true. This is where the intersection of quantum understanding and inner wisdom becomes most profound. In quantum physics, the act of observation changes the behavior of particles. In consciousness, the act of awareness changes the behavior of patterns. When you observe your own frequency without judgment, without trying to change it, without making it wrong, you introduce a new element into the system, the element of consciousness itself. And that element is transformative by its very nature. So the practice is not about doing more. It is about seeing more. Seeing clearly what frequency you are actually holding in any given moment. Not the one you wish you were holding. Not the one you think you should be holding. The one you are actually holding. And then, from that place of honest seeing, allowing the natural intelligence of your being to do what it does best, which is to move toward coherence, toward harmony, toward the frequency that serves your highest expression. What we have touched on today, the observer effect, the hidden broadcast, the way awareness itself dissolves old frequencies. This is only the surface of a much deeper system. If you are ready to explore the complete framework, including the 9 master frequencies that move you from unconscious transmission to becoming the broadcast itself, my ebook Beyond the Frequencies, a quantum guide to consciousness. Mastery walks you through every layer, from breaking free of survival static all the way to living as the field. It's linked in the pinned comment below. Let me go even deeper now, because there is a layer to this that most teachings never reach. The frequency of receiving is not just about what you get from the world. It is about what you allow yourself to feel. Most people have a limited capacity for receiving, not because the universe is stingy, but because their nervous system cannot hold the expansion that true receiving requires. Think about this. When something genuinely wonderful happens to you, what is your immediate internal response? For many people, it is not pure joy. It is a subtle bracing, a waiting for the other shoe to drop. A quiet voice that says, "This is too good to last," or "This cannot really be for me," or "Something bad must be coming to balance this out." This is not pessimism. This is a nervous system that has been calibrated for survival, not for thriving. A nervous system that learned early on that good things are temporary, that expansion is dangerous, that the safest place to be is in the middle, not too high, not too low, never fully open, never completely vulnerable. And so even when life offers you exactly what you asked for, your system contracts. It narrows the channel. It reduces the flow. Not because you do not want it, but because your body does not feel safe enough to hold it. This is perhaps the most overlooked dimension of manifestation and receiving, the capacity of your nervous system to tolerate the very thing you desire. Because receiving is not just an energetic concept, It is a physical experience. It happens in your body. It requires your cells, your tissues, your neural pathways to open and expand. And if your system has been conditioned to contract, to protect, to brace against the unexpected, then no amount of visualization or affirmation will override that biological imperative. The work here is somatic. It is in the body. It is about gradually, gently expanding your capacity to feel good, to feel safe in expansion, to allow pleasure, abundance, love, and success to exist in your body without triggering the alarm systems that have been running since childhood. This is not about thinking your way to a new reality. This is about feeling your way there, about teaching your body through repeated experience that it is safe to receive. That openness is not a threat. That expansion does not have to be followed by collapse. And this is where the practice becomes deeply personal and deeply real. Because you cannot expand your capacity for receiving by reading about it. You can only expand it by practicing it, by noticing the moments when your body wants to contract and choosing, gently, to stay open just a little longer, by allowing a compliment to land instead of deflecting it, by receiving help without immediately calculating how to repay it, by letting yourself feel joy without the footnote of anxiety, by sitting in the fullness of a beautiful moment without rushing to the next thing. Each of these small acts of receiving is a frequency adjustment. Each one teaches your nervous system that openness is safe. Each one widens the channel through which life can flow to you. And over time, these small adjustments compound. The channel widens, the frequency stabilizes, and what once felt overwhelming or too good to be true begins to feel natural, normal, like the way things were always meant to be. There is another dimension to this that deserves attention. The frequency of receiving is intimately connected to the frequency of giving. Not in the transactional sense of give to get, but in the energetic sense that giving and receiving are two expressions of the same flow. Like breathing in and breathing out, they are not separate actions, but a single continuous movement. When you block one, you block the other. Many people who struggle with receiving are actually quite generous givers. They give freely of their time, their energy, their resources. But when the flow reverses, when life tries to give back to them, they resist, they deflect, they minimize. They insist they do not need anything, and in doing so, they break the circuit. They interrupt the natural flow of energy that wants to move through them in both directions. If you recognize this pattern in yourself, notice what it feels like in your body when someone offers you something. Not just a physical gift, but a kind word, a moment of attention, an offer of support. Notice if there is a tightening, a pulling away, a subtle discomfort. That discomfort is your frequency of blocking. It is the energetic wall that stands between you and the abundance that is trying to reach you. And it is almost always rooted in a belief about worthiness, about burden, about the safety of being seen and valued. The practice here is simple but profound. When life offers you something, receive it fully, without apology, without deflection, without immediately trying to give something back. Just receive. Let it in. Let it fill you. Let your body feel the warmth of being given to. And notice what happens. Notice how the discomfort, if it arises, begins to soften with practice. Notice how the channel opens. Notice how, as you become a better receiver, you also become a more authentic giver, because the flow is no longer interrupted, but moves through you freely in both directions. Now let me bring this to the level of daily practice, because understanding without embodiment is just philosophy. And philosophy, no matter how beautiful, does not change your life. Only embodied understanding does that. Only truth that lives in your cells, in your breath, in the way you move through the world, has the power to shift your frequency and transform your experience. Consider coming back to this message each morning for the next several days. Let it reset your frequency before the world has a chance to pull you back into old patterns. And if someone comes to mind as you listen, someone who has been straining and struggling and wondering why nothing seems to shift, send this to them. When you share this kind of awareness with another person, you do not just help them, you reinforce the frequency within yourself. You create a ripple in the collective field that amplifies the signal of receiving for both of you. And that ripple has a way of returning to you multiplied. Here is what I want you to try. Not as a technique, not as a strategy, but as an experiment in being. For the next several days, practice noticing your frequency throughout the day, not judging it, not trying to change it, simply noticing. What is the quality of energy I am holding right now? Is it open or closed, expansive or contracted, trusting or fearful, abundant or scarce? Just notice, like a scientist observing an experiment, with curiosity rather than criticism. And when you notice a frequency that does not serve you, do not fight it. Do not try to replace it with something more positive. Instead, simply bring your full awareness to it. Feel where it lives in your body. Notice its texture, its temperature, its weight, and then breathe. Not to change it, but to be with it. To let it know that it has been seen, that it no longer needs to operate in the shadows to get your attention. You will find, if you practice this with genuine sincerity, that the act of noticing itself begins to shift the frequency, not through force, through presence, through the simple, profound act of being fully here with what is. This is the deepest form of receiving the present moment exactly as it is, without resistance, without amendment, without the need for it to be different. And when you can receive the present moment fully, you become available to receive everything else as well. There is a paradox at the heart of all this that your mind may struggle with. The paradox is this: the more you need something to change, the more you lock it in place. And the more you can accept what is, the more freedom it has to transform. This is not passivity. This is not resignation. This is the deepest form of power available to a conscious being. The power of allowing. The power of non-resistance. The power of trusting the intelligence that moves through all things, including you, to organize reality in ways that serve the highest good. When you stop pushing against what is, you stop broadcasting the frequency of resistance. And when you stop broadcasting resistance, you start broadcasting receptivity. And receptivity, true receptivity, is the most magnetically attractive frequency in the universe. It is the frequency of the open hand rather than the clenched fist, the frequency of the deep breath rather than the held breath, the frequency of yes rather than not yet. And when you hold this frequency, not as a performance but as a genuine state of being, the universe responds with a generosity that can feel almost overwhelming to a system that has been conditioned for scarcity. Let me speak now about something that often goes unaddressed in conversations about frequency and receiving: the role of grief. Because sometimes the reason you cannot receive what you want is that you have not fully grieved what you lost, or what you never had, or what you were promised but never given. Grief is not an obstacle to receiving. It is a gateway. When you allow yourself to fully feel the loss, the disappointment, the heartbreak, you clear the energetic space that has been occupied by unprocessed pain. And in that clearing, room is made for something new. Many people carry years, sometimes decades, of unfelt grief in their bodies. Grief over relationships that ended. Grief over opportunities that passed. Grief over the childhood they deserved but did not receive. Grief over the person they thought they would become but have not yet become. This accumulated grief acts like static on the frequency of receiving. It does not block it entirely, but it distorts the signal, making it harder for clear, clean abundance to find its way through. If you sense this is true for you, the invitation is not to force yourself into grief, but to give yourself permission to feel whatever is there, to create a space in your life, even a few minutes a day, where you are not trying to be positive, not trying to raise your vibration, not trying to manifest anything at all, where you are simply being with what is, including the sadness, including the loss, including the parts of your experience that do not fit neatly into a spiritual framework. This is not a detour from the path of receiving. This is the path. Because true receiving requires an open heart, and an open heart is one that has been willing to feel everything, not just the pleasant emotions, not just the high vibration states, but the full spectrum of human experience. When you can hold it all, when your heart is big enough to contain both the joy and the sorrow, you become a vessel of extraordinary capacity. And the universe, sensing that capacity, fills it abundantly. Now here is the real secret, the one that ties everything together. The frequency of receiving is not a frequency you generate. It is a frequency you return to. It is your natural state, the state you were in before the world taught you to guard, to grip, to doubt, to fear. Before the first wound, before the first rejection, before the first time someone told you that what you wanted was too much, or that who you were was not enough. Beneath all of that conditioning, beneath all of those layers of protection, the frequency of receiving is already there. It has always been there. It is the frequency of your original nature, of consciousness itself, of the open, aware, infinitely receptive field from which all experience arises. You do not need to create this frequency. You need to uncover it, to peel away the layers that have been obscuring it, to remove the static, the interference, the old broadcasts that have been running on autopilot for so long that you forgot they were not actually yours. They were inherited, absorbed, adopted from a world that had forgotten its own abundance. And now, in this moment, you have the opportunity to remember, to return to the frequency that was always your birthright, to stop blocking what was always trying to reach you. And this is where I want to leave you. Not with a technique, not with a formula, but with an invitation. An invitation to spend less time trying to attract what you want, and more time removing what stands between you and what is already yours. Less time generating new frequencies, and more time returning to the one that was there before you learned to doubt it. Less time doing and more time being open, being present, being available, being willing to receive. Because the truth is, the universe has been trying to give you everything you have ever wanted for as long as you have been alive. The abundance is not somewhere out there, waiting for you to earn it or prove yourself worthy of it. It is right here, right now, pressing against the edges of your awareness, looking for any opening, any crack in the armor, any moment of genuine receptivity through which it can pour. Your only job is to let it in. Feel that in your body right now. Feel what it would be like to simply stop resisting, to let your shoulders drop, to let your breath deepen, to let the walls around your heart soften just enough to let something good through. Not because you have figured out the right technique, not because you have earned it through suffering, but because you are alive, because you exist, because the same intelligence that orchestrates the movement of galaxies is the intelligence that beats your heart and breathes your lungs and holds the very atoms of your body in their precise configuration. That intelligence is not withholding from you. It never was. You were withholding from it. And now you know. And now you can choose differently. Take a slow breath. Let it fill you completely. And as you exhale, release one thing. Just one. One doubt. One fear. One old belief about what you cannot have or who you cannot be. Let it go with the breath. Feel the space that opens where it used to be. And notice in that space something already beginning to arrive. Not from outside, from within. A warmth, a rightness, a quiet knowing that everything you have been seeking has been seeking you with equal intensity. This is the frequency of receiving. Not a state you achieve, a state you allow. Not a destination you reach, a home you return to. And it has been waiting for you, patiently, lovingly, for your entire life. The next time you find yourself straining towards something you want, the next time you feel the familiar tension of desire mixed with doubt, remember this. Stop reaching. Start receiving. Stop broadcasting lack. Start embodying fullness. Stop asking the universe to prove itself to you. Start proving to the universe that you are ready. Because you are ready. You have always been ready. The only thing that was ever missing was your willingness to believe that. And now, in this moment, you have that willingness. You can feel it. It is not a thought. It is a frequency. And it is already changing everything. If something in this message found you today, if something shifted in your chest or softened in your body or opened in your awareness, trust that. That is not coincidence. That is resonance. That is the frequency of receiving already beginning to activate in your system. Honor it by staying with it, by not immediately rushing back to the noise and the striving and the old patterns. Give yourself permission to remain in this state for as long as it wants to stay. And when it fades, as it naturally will, know that you can return to it at any time. It is not going anywhere. It is you. Leave a word in the comments that represents what you are choosing to receive. Not what you want. What you are choosing to receive. There is a difference, and your body knows what it is. Subscribe to this channel if you want to continue walking this path. Not because you need more information, but because sometimes the reminder to return to your own frequency is the most valuable thing anyone can offer you. and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Someone who has been straining and struggling and wondering why their efforts are not producing results. Not because this will fix them, but because sometimes the most powerful gift you can give someone is the permission to stop trying so hard and start receiving what was always theirs. The frequency is already within you. It always has been. Now you know, and knowing changes everything. Now that you understand the frequency of receiving, go deeper into the truth of who you are becoming. What you have been waiting for someone to choose you, choose yourself, because it reveals the one shift that unlocks everything you just learned here. The moment you stop waiting for permission and become the source of your own arrival.